Hello everyone, this is Papa C, and something happened that I think is my peak in my online chess career. So let me give you the beginning of the story. So it was like 2 o'clock. Started to watch Nakamura. He just started playing in the Arena Kings. I wanted just to play versus Hikaru Nakamura. So the time he finished playing his games, I clicked the search button and I hoped just to pair with him. So it started. I was black and we see this game. So he plays d4, knight f6, knight f3. Okay, I play e6, bishop f4, c5, e3, queen b6. Okay. So knight d2, he has knight c4, so I can't take the pawn easily. d5, rook b1. And now I play bishop d7. I want to go with a bishop on b5, and this is my idea. In this position, they usually play knight c6, and after that, bishop d7. So never mind, he plays c3. I play takes, he took, bishop e7, I'm waiting for bishop d3. He plays bishop d3, and now I play bishop b5. I mean, this is a slight inaccuracy by him, because actually in this position it is equal, as I saw, after bishop b5. So in his stream he said in this exact point, oh, that's why he played bishop d7, he wanted to go to b5. Okay, never mind, he played queen e2. Okay, knight c6, logical move. He castled, rook c8, rook a1, castles, bishop g5. Okay, h6, he took, I took. Okay, we got quite an equal position. Carlsbad structure, but okay, he has some counterplay on the queen side, so he plays knight there. I play knight a5, knight e3. I played g6 in this position. I mean, it is not so good. Better was h5 so as to prevent knight g4. I mean, I want to play g6 so as to play bishop g7 next, but he plays knight e5. He was going for knight d7, so okay, I took just to open up. I played knight c4. Okay, so he went knight g4, and I blundered. I played h5. I should have played king g7 probably. So h5, he plays knight f6, king g7, and now he blundered. He thought that after knight, queen g3, he can go knight d7 and also take the h5 pawn. So he goes queen g3 and I go rook h8. I tell him I go away from this fork. I also protect this pawn with my rook. So he goes rook e2. I go queen a6. I tell him that if you have an attack, okay, go for it. Otherwise, okay, we'll just take your pawn on a2. So he says, okay, I'm going for an attack, and I said, okay, prove that. The position became really double-edged because he plays f4, he wants to play f5 next. So I play queen b3. I'm like, okay, I have seen a check on b6, and I mean, if he plays f5, I've seen I can take and maybe play somehow queen b6, and after that go for the defense. So he plays f5. I take, and maybe you could play e6 in this position, but okay, maybe I could take the knight on f6, because he can't go to e5 with his queen. If he plays e6, I take the knight, and he can't go queen to e5 because I have the knight. So he just played knight takes on d5. I take the pawn on b2. I'm like, okay, show me what you got. He goes knight f4. I go rook takes on c3. He goes queen to g5. I go check, as I mentioned earlier. So in this position I got this f6 pawn, which is really important. He goes king h1. Best move in this position was king f1. So never mind. I go knight d3. I just want to exchange pieces. He goes knight takes, rook takes, and e6. So in this position it is really important to go for f6, because you don't want to allow this open file to open up, because his rooks will mate me really quick. So I play f6, tempo on his queen. He goes queen c1. I go rook e8. He goes e7 and rook d7. So in this position, I'm black. You know, I have 3 pawns up, if I can count correctly. So his e7 pawn can't do much. He must always protect his pawns. And I have really easy play. So in this position, he was like in his stream, I guess, what is this guy doing? I mean, he is untitled. I mean, I have no title, that's for sure. But, you know, I have quite a big rating, so I could play some strong games. So it was a really strong game so far. So he plays rook e6. I go queen d4. So I was thinking in this position that the only thing I must be careful of is this pawn. I have one weakness in this position. If I am able to go to h8, a1 diagonal and go for queen d4 or queen c3 or something, I have no danger. I'm in no danger ever. So if he removes his rook from the e file, I can just take the e7 pawn and will be just 4 pawns up. It is just a winning position. I mean, if the queen remains on this diagonal, without the other queen being on this diagonal, if you know, if that makes sense. So queen d4, she goes for queen a3, okay. I go for a6 just to protect this pawn, h3, and now h4, okay. I'm just maybe a little trolling, I mean, h4 was not such a good move. I mean, it's just an inaccuracy because this pawn is not doing anything in this position. I mean, I just want to play a5 or b5 or something. Maybe it was just waiting for something. So queen b3, I mean, he has no moves in this position. He was just saying in his stream that this guy, I mean, he means me, was playing really, really well. He's not gonna lie. This was exactly his words. So I was just watching his stream at this point, like it was 5 or 7 seconds later. Because there is always a delay in streams. My nerves were quite tightened, so I was just looking at this position and I was like, I'm 4 pawns up. I gotta win this game. I mean, it's Hikaru Nakamura. You must win this position. So I played b5. He goes queen f3. I mean, he has no threat, so I just go queen c5. I'm not sure why I played queen c5. Okay, I could have played b4. Never mind. So he goes queen e2. And now I go b4. I mean, he can take on a6, but if he takes... Oh, okay, now I understand. So I wanted to take the e7 pawn. So he goes queen e2, and now I go b4. So if he takes with the pawn on a6, I can take the pawn on e7 and just be 3 pawns up still. So queen b2, and now I watched... I had seen this move. I mean, I could go also to d4. But okay, queen c3 is just better. I mean, and in this position, he started to say, okay, so this play is quite suspicious. I mean, how can he play so well? I mean, I don't think I've played so well in this position. So I will tell you at the end, which is my opinion about this game. So b3, I mean, I am threatening to play b2. So queen a4, he wants to attack the rook. So queen d3, protecting 1, 2, 3. So he goes queen h4. Okay, I blundered this one. Queen d4, as I mentioned earlier. I mean, I have to protect my only weakness here on f6. So queen g3, okay, b2, queen b3, and now a5. If you want to be a little, you know, observative, if this is the right word, I haven't touched these rooks. These rooks are really important in this game, that they are the same as these 2 rooks. Because if they do the same job, I can just win with those 2 pawns, as happened in the game. So he plays rook e2, and I play a4, and I say, if you take this pawn, I will take with the queen, and if you take with the rook, I will take this one, and if you take, I will take with the other rook, and then I play rook a7, and this pawn is really strong, and the rook behind the pawn is really, really strong, and I have 1 more pawn up in this position, so it's just an easy end game to win. So I saw this and he played queen a2, a3 I mean. So I play now rook b7. The rook at least does some double job. He goes to b1 and I mean protects the pawn and goes for promotion. And at the same time he attacks the e7 pawn. Rook to b1. So I play queen b4 in this position and I'm saying the exact same question. Do you want to trade queens? If he trades queen, it's exactly maybe slightly different, but it is the same idea as I mentioned earlier. And if he takes, I will take, he will take, and I will take this pawn, and he has no check to go behind the pawn. So he must go back, and now I'll go just rook a7, sorry. and I will just win the game easily as earlier. He goes queen a2, and I go just a3. I mean, these two pawns are really unstoppable. So rook to e3. Okay, of course I take the pawn. He takes the pawn. Rook e1, I take. He played the rook there just not to lose this rook. But okay, he played queen b1, queen f4, king h1, and queen c1. I finished this game. I was just the happiest person in the world. I have never won such a big rating, even in Blitz. Not Blitz, not real life, not anything. Okay, so let me see what's next. So I was white, and I just want to show you what happens sometimes in chess. You know, Bobby Fischer used to say, there's no psychology in chess, there's just good moves. And here we can see clearly what happens when a player is tilted. I mean, do you know this word tilted? He has not a clear mind. He can't think properly. I must tell you that in this moment of the tournament, Hikaru was 8 out of 8. So he played against me in the first game and he lost. And after that, he lost his temper. He just lost many more games. So this is a well-known variation, Nimzo Indian defense. I was watching this variation in the chess base. And okay, I saw that in this position I play queen e4. And I have seen in this position maybe queen b5 and bishop b7. But he played, okay, queen b5, and now I play b4. I think it's playable, but after b takes c5, I wasn't remembering what happened. So I played e3, he went queen to b7, and I checked. He went king f8, and now I think I should have played something like bishop takes a6, or anything else that what I played. I played rook c1, even takes in rook b1 or something. So I played rook c1, he took, I took with the king. Okay, he played knight d7, a really nice move. I had no move in this position, and I played rook b1. So queen a6, b5, he took the pawn, g3. It's quite a lost position. Not yet, but I'm pretty worse. So c3, and I played queen d4. He went king e7, and now I played rook h to d1. So in this position, if you look closely, black plays c2. It's just winning. Here I can play queen takes on d7, king f8, and nothing. Check on d6, king g8 maybe, and after that he will just take a rook. He plays knight b6. Okay, it's an okay move. I mean, he just you know, he protects all of his squares, and it's quite a fine position. So I play rook a1. But let me share with you what I've been thinking about this position. He has lost a game versus me, I mean versus this opponent, and now he's afraid. He's afraid to play. He has lost his mind, and he's like, okay, maybe I could lose. Also, maybe he was thinking that I was an engine. So it happens to me many times that if I'm playing with an engine, I'm so tilted, and I think he will play the best move, so I'm not so concentrated. So, believe it or not, in this position he played queen takes a1. Okay, when I saw this move I was like, what? I mean, how is this even possible? But you know, Hikaru Nakamura is a human. Okay, he has human characteristics. If you are afraid of your opponent, then you can't play. It happens to me many times that if I play versus an opponent who is maybe a little better than me, but he has crushed me. I mean, if I don't really believe in myself that I can win this game, then it's almost sure that I will lose it. That's exactly what happens in this game. I mean, I take his queen and he's like, what did I do in this position? And it's clearly acceptable what he did. I mean, he just blacked out. I mean, he didn't see anything. He just said, oh, and he saw a ghost. So I was really happy to be again a winner. I mean, okay, in this position I didn't deserve it, I think. I mean, I just played normal moves, and he just I mean, the first game won also the second, if you know what I mean. That's it. I really enjoyed those two victories. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you soon.